Hi everyone, my name is Annie and I'm a dietetic intern at St. Louis University. And today I, along with my fellow dietetic intern, will be teaching you how to make roasted butternut squash soup. This is a great recipe for the fall because it incorporates a lot of local ingredients like butternut squash, which is also rich in vitamin A, vitamin C, fiber, and potassium. So it's very nutritious for you. So to get started, the equipment that we're going to be using today is just a typical cutting board, a sheet tray with aluminum foil on it, a pitcher, a soup pot with a soup ladle, a chopping knife, a spoon, a brush, a wooden spoon, a serving bowl, and then a blender is what we're going to be using. You can also use a food processor, or if you have a immersion blender, that would work too.
Hey everyone, I'm Rachel. I'm going to show you what ingredients you're going to use for this recipe. So you'll start with 1 butternut squash. You'll need 4 sage leaves. You'll start with 1/4 cup of non-fat plain Greek yogurt. And we are using that instead of heavy cream to kind of cut down on the fat and add some protein. You'll take 1/2 of a Granny Smith apple, 1/4 cup of an onion, 1/4 cup of toasted pumpkin seeds, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and then 1 1/4 cup of low sodium vegetable broth. But you could use chicken broth as well. It's whatever you have around the house. And then finally, we're just going to add salt and pepper to taste.
So the first step is to roast the butternut squash soup. So we just have 1 butternut squash and we cut it in half lengthwise, and then we scooped out all of the seeds just with like a simple serving spoon. And so it's going to look just like this before you put it in the oven. And then you're going to just take a little bit of olive oil and using just like a brush, you're going to just brush the butternut squash lightly with the olive oil, just making sure to get all of the edges. So I'm going to do that on the other side as well. And then you're just going to add a little bit of pepper and a little bit of salt. And you're going to cook it in the oven on this aluminum foil just to make sure nothing gets encrusted onto the baking sheet. You're going to put it in the oven at 425 for about 50 to an hour. And then when it is finished, it should look like this. And so you can see it's got a nice little caramelization. And the way to tell if it's finished is to just put a knife or a fork inside and you can see the tenderness. And that'll know that your butternut squash is ready to be cooked.
Okay, so we just put 2 tablespoons of olive oil onto the burner and started heating it. So now we're going to go ahead and add our apples, our onions, and our sage. So we're putting in 4 fresh sage leaves. If you don't have fresh sage leaves, you can use 1/2 teaspoon of dried sage, and that works the same. We're going to go ahead and add our apple and our onion. And you want to cook it until it's soft and the onion is translucent, and that usually takes about 7 minutes. So that's how long we're going to cook it for. Okay, so we're going to add some salt and some pepper in here so that while we're sauteing, the salt and pepper draw out the liquid from our food in here, and it enhances the flavors overall in the soup. Okay, so now that we've added the Greek yogurt, we're just going to go ahead and stir it in. Don't be too worried if you still see some white streaks in there because we are going to put it in the blender and that'll take care of that problem. And the Greek yogurt we put in place of heavy cream, and that cuts back on a lot of the fat and also increases the protein. So it just increases the health benefits a little bit. And we're just going to scoop all of this soup into our pitcher here so that we don't make a giant mess, and go ahead and pour it into the blender. And just be careful because it is very hot. You don't want to burn yourself. So we've finished blending it, and now it's time to serve. So we're going to go ahead and pour it into our bowl. And then we're just going to sprinkle a few toasted pumpkin seeds on the top. Adds a little bit of fiber, some more flavor, a little bit of crunch to it. And then to finish up, we're just going to garnish it with a few sage leaves, just to make it look nice and have an overall great appearance. And this has been your roasted butternut squash soup. And we are the St. Louis University Dietetic Interns, reminding you to live well and eat well.